Welcome to our next webinar for Dharana Digital. And in this webinar, we're going to focus on how to optimize content using AI and a range of AI tools. I'm Dr. Karen Sutherland, and I'm going to lead you through this webinar. I'd like to kick off with a quote first, just to really capture how important AI is becoming in the content creation landscape. So this quote was from Neil Patel, who is a leader in digital marketing. He's from the US, but he's really well known around the world. And what he's saying here is that it's no longer a question of when you should use AI or if you should use AI, but it's really around how you're going to use AI. And there are so many options. Everyone has done their own experiments and things as well, and has their own sort of methods. And so that's what I want to share with you in this webinar, just some of the things that I have been learning along the way on my journey. Before we kick off, what I would really like to do for those who are here live is write in the chat, what at the moment is your biggest challenge when it comes to content creation? I know for me, sometimes it's really a time. I'm really strapped for time to be able to create content for some of the platforms that I'd really like to have a presence on. Sometimes I'm stuck for ideas as well. And even sometimes, particularly if it's a sort of a new type of content type, I don't feel like I have the expertise yet to really do it well. So what's actually preventing you at the moment from, so not feeling creative? Yeah. So where do you actually start? So Anthony has said, Keita said, ideas for the target market. Absolutely. So I think too, running a business as well really takes you away from being able to really immerse yourself in and learn things and come up with these ideas and do the research and brainstorm. And so this is why AI can really help you with this. So in this session, I want you to really think about how embracing AI could possibly actually not only enhance your content quality, it can also help with the performance of your content and also help you to free up your time, because sitting there agonizing over what you need to write or what you need to create really takes most of the time, I feel, sometimes in actually producing the content. It's just seeing that empty page, that empty screen, and just feeling a bit at a loss, and feeling what some of my clients experience, what I like to call posting procrastination, where you just don't know what to do, so you just post nothing. So AI can really help you to overcome these obstacles. So what I'm aiming to do is provide you in this webinar, because I could provide many ways, but I'll do 3 ways that I've learned how to optimize content with AI. I also like to share some statistics as well, just to give you some context around the use of AI for content creation. So there was a study done recently this year by Authority Hacker, where they surveyed nearly 4,000 marketers, and 85% of them are already using AI for tasks like writing articles or even coming up with those ideas, like we mentioned, brainstorming. So they're already using AI quite a lot in their work. And then another study completed by Salesforce, where it was a similar sample size of 4,000 people and 4,000 marketing leaders. They have predicted that AI is really going to be a core content generation tool within the next 2 years. And I honestly think it is now. I've been conducting my own research for my upcoming book, and so many people are already using it in a whole range of different ways, which is really interesting. With content creation when you use AI, I always like to go through this process that I've developed around using generative AI tools. So these are things like your ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, even Canva, to help you guide you through the process and make it more efficient. Because sometimes with AI, you can get frustrated because it's a lot of this sort of back and forth to get what you need. There is still some of that, of course, but with any creative process, but following these three stages will help you to get to what you need faster. So firstly, the first stage is the preparation stage. It's really sitting down and thinking, okay, what am I trying to create here? Who is it for? What is the purpose? Where is it going to go? So is it going to be a social media post? Which platform? Is it a blog post? Exactly what is it? And really writing down those characteristics and then crafting your prompt. So your prompt or your instruction to give to the AI so that you can give it all the sort of who, what, where, when, how information so that it knows exactly what you're trying to do and all the details of that piece of content. The next stage is actually generating that content. So putting it into whatever AI tool that you are using and seeing what it brings back. I can say with any hesitation that it is very rare for it to come back first go with exactly the way that you want it. However, you will go through this process. If you've ever worked with a designer or a copywriter, or even with someone in your team, a colleague, to create even a brochure or any sort of communication material, there's always that back and forth as part of the creative process. And so instead of doing it with a real person, you're doing it with the AI. And so this process, once you put in the initial prompt and you go back and forth to get what you need, this is called prompt optimization. It's also called chain of thought reasoning, just to perfect it, to get what you need. And then the third stage, of course, is the post-production. So this is the editing. Now, I've got first step in the editing process is making sure that you fact check any information that it gives to you. And this is because AI has this really nifty feature, unreliable feature of hallucinating. And so it can actually make up information that is incorrect. So you want to make sure before you let this content loose publicly that all the information is accurate and correct. Today, we're going to use some tools that search the internet, but even when they're providing sources, you need to check because, as we know, not everything on the internet is true. So you need to make sure that those sources are legitimate. And then you have to edit. So copy and pasting is exactly what it gives you, and using it is really not a great way to go. So think of AI as a first draft generator, and then you bring it out, and you've got something to work with. It really just fills that space between you and the empty page. And it's always easier to work with something than nothing. And so when you're stuck there for ideas or you're not sure where to get started, it's perfect for that. But then you need to edit it up just so that it sounds more like you. And while you can train it in some aspects, and I'll do a future webinar on how to train it to sound like you still need to edit it and make sure that it sounds like something that you would write. I heard a quote recently, and it was that the best AI content looks like it hasn't been generated by AI. So that's the thing. You want to make it look like it is actually your work. And I think we've all seen those really cringy sort of posts on LinkedIn and other platforms where it's so clearly generated by AI, where it says things like amplify and skyrocket, and then it's got all these random emojis in there, and you can tell it's been written word for word by AI. Now, you don't want it to look like that. You want it to look authentic. The AI there is just to help you, not replace you. And then you synthesize it. So basically what I mean by that, you take it out of the AI, work it into what you want the final product to be, and then you create the final draft. So whether that's a blog post or a Facebook post or whatever that may be, I often think it's better to take it out and put it into a Word document first, and then do your editing and then put it into whatever you need to. Unless it's like a blog post, you might want to put it into whatever website platform that you're using and then edit in there. So just make sure that you think of those three stages when you are creating content. We'll move on now to the three ways that you can enhance it. So I also wanted to let you know that all of the images used in this webinar are AI generated. And we'll talk about that, and I'll give you some tips on how to do that coming up. So you were really right on the money when you're talking about coming up with ideas that are going to appeal to your ideal customer. And I have a method that I've been perfecting that can actually help with this. So what you do is you use an AI tool that helps you actually to work out the pain points and challenges of your ideal customer. And then I have a prompt to give to the AI to then get it to come up with content ideas that help to address these pain points and challenges, so that you'll have a list of ideas that will work with your audience. And it helps you to better understand the perspectives of the people that you're trying to attract to your business through your content. And it will help you to create content that better connects with them, because what you're really aiming to do with your content is to capture the attention of people that you want to be your customers or clients, and you want them to feel like they get you, or you get them, you understand them. And so that helps to build trust, and then it attracts them in that way. This is why we do it. So we're going to use a tool today called Perplexity, but these are free tools. So there's Perplexity, and that runs on Microsoft Copilot. You only get a few, I think you get 4 or 5 free searches a day, which is fine. And then there's Google Gemini, which is also a free tool. And the beauty of these both is that they actually search on the internet. Whereas if you're using the free version of ChatGPT, it does not do that. So in the paid version of ChatGPT, it does it via Bing, or there's another way. You can actually use Bing search engine, their AI chat function, and you can do it that way as well. But today, there are many different methods. Today, we're just going to focus on, we'll try Perplexity, and we'll also try Gemini as well. So here is the prompt that I will give to it, and I'll just copy and paste this in a second. So you can see here the prompt is my business, and then talk about what your product or service is, and your ideal customer in terms of their age, gender, location, occupation, industry. Now, I know these are very different, but what you might want to do is target a specific customer. So really write the sort of demographics or characteristics of that kind of person that you're trying to attract. And then you tell the AI, please search the internet to find information to identify this group's common pain points and challenges that my product or service can solve. So let's pop that in first. I'll just copy and paste this. We'll go over to Perplexity. And I'll pop it in, but then I will change. So I'll use Dharana Digital. So my business sells digital marketing services to include I'll just say including AI consulting. So I'll just focus on that as that one service, just so we'll get a really targeted response. And my ideal customer is, so we could say 40 plus. We'll focus this one on women in Australia. And there we'll say yoga teachers. And so I'll take this out now. And I'll say, please search the internet to find information to identify this group's common pain points that my AI consulting service can solve. So what I'm going to do too is copy that, and we'll put it into Gemini as well, and just look at the difference in responses. So we'll pop that in and get that going. We'll go over to Gemini, and we'll pop the same prompt in there. So we'll go back. Now, Perplexity likes to ask specific questions to drill down more. So I'm just going to say skip. And what it does is it comes back and it's coming back with the different pain points. So personalization, customer engagement, streamlining tasks, overcoming challenges. So it gives you this list. And over at Gemini, what did they say? They said, here we go, marketing and reaching new students, managing social media online presence. Okay, so we've got the basis here. So this is the first half. So we'll go back now. So that's the first half of this method. Then the second half is within the same chat. You then ask it, so this next prompt, with this information in mind, please generate 3 marketing content ideas for each pain point or challenge that demonstrates understanding to our ideal customer and shows how our product or service can achieve their desired outcomes. All right, so let me just copy that in again. So we'll go over to Perplexity, put in the follow-up. So with this in mind, please generate 3 marketing content ideas for each pain point or challenge that demonstrates understanding how our service. So I'll just get that out. I'll copy that and put that into Gemini as well. So this is where the real ideas come from. And the reason why we do it, we set it up so that it's thinking in a particular way around a particular target audience. So then it was asking for more information. So it's better to actually give that, but we won't have a lot of time to delve into that today. Then we'll go into Gemini and see what Gemini will give us. So back in here, it's got each of the pain points, and then these look like maybe blog posts, the topics there. Discuss the, so it's giving me ideas for different content. So I've got an idea for each one. Let's see how Gemini went. So I think the Gemini worked a lot better. So you can see here you've got an idea for a blog post. You've got a free webinar, social media posts, and then so it actually followed through on the instruction really well. So you've got 3 different ideas there, really helpful. But then that's not the end of it. So what I recommend then is, so you've got all these ideas, the next step is to get it to drill down into one of those. So let's pick one of those and give it this prompt. Please write an example of this content idea and then paste it in so that it appeals directly to our ideal customer as mentioned previously. And I put the characteristics in again just so it keep reminding it, and use a tone. So depending on what your brand's about, it might be fun, it might be informative, friendly, whatever the characteristics are that you want to use to connect with that target audience, include that in this prompt, and a call to action so they, whatever you want them to do, call you, visit your website, whatever it may be. So let's do this final step. I might just pop it into Gemini because I like those ideas better than what came out of Perplexity. So please write an example. So I think I liked this blog post, The Busy Yoga Teacher's Guide to Targeted Marketing with AI. So let's pop that in. That appeals directly to our target audience, which was yoga teachers. Pop that in. And then the tone. So we want it to be helpful, friendly, knowledgeable, excuse my spelling when everyone's watching, and I want it to be like clear as well. So if we're talking about technology, sometimes people get a bit scared if you're using really long convoluted words, so make it clear so they visit our, oh no, let's get them to book in a free consultation. Okay, so let's see what comes back. So now it's actually writing the blog post. And again, you would take it out and then edit it. But let's see what it comes back with. It's definitely working. So look at that. So straight away, juggling, I would remove these exclamation marks, but that's me. But it's really well structured. And then it's got that call to action at the end. So that is one way so far of how you can use that sort of 3 steps and to get those ideas and then get it to actually create drafts of that content for you. Our next part is, just want to check in. Our next idea is related to images. So creating engaging graphics. So as I said, all of the images are in this webinar are created by AI, but sometimes it can be really hit or miss when it comes to generating images because you have to be very detailed in your descriptions around how you actually get the result that you need. Using the free AI tool, you can actually craft the prompts for your images can be super helpful. And I've just really started doing this lately. So what I've been doing is getting the prompt written in Google Gemini and then putting it into ChatGPT 4. So ChatGPT 4 has DALL-E in it, and that's what I use to create the images. But by creating the prompts with AI, it tends to be a bit more thorough and it works better. And I found actually not creating the prompts within ChatGPT for ChatGPT, it seems to be better coming from Gemini for some reason. So Gemini is a really great tool. And the reason why, you can create designs that exactly what you want to your specific needs rather than using the stock ones in Canva or the free ones on the internet. You can create what you want. They're generally more sort of graphic, not photo-like, but you can use tools like Midjourney, which you could get that kind of result. So what I do is I ask the AI to write a prompt with the details in it. You can see here the prompt, it says write a prompt that I can give to, and I say the tool it will go to create a graphic that will appeal to your ideal customer again. So it's got them in mind, but also your brand. So the colors of your brand, what you want it to represent. So for each section of this webinar, I said, this is what I'm focusing on, and then it generated an image according to that. I did some really great ones recently. I did a talk to a group on the Sunshine Coast that is for solo women baby boomers, and I created these amazing images with them, with sort of these older women interacting with technology and things like that I just couldn't find anywhere else. So it's really great. You need to also be very specific about the size and what it's going to be used for, and even the artistic style. You can tell it. So you can say you want it to look like a cartoon, or you want it to look like a Dali, a Salvador Dali painting. You can be very specific about what you want and then see what it brings you back. So let's have a go with this. I'll just copy and paste this in, and we'll bring this over to, I'll say, let's do it in Gemini. So why don't we make an image to go with this blog post here? So this is the prompt. So write a prompt that I can give to, I'll say, ChatGPT-4 to create a graphic that will appeal to let's just copy and paste it in so we're using the same terminology. That uses, so our colors are red. I'll just say uses shades of red, black, white, and orange. And I always like to include, because our brand is a lotus flower, so I'll say, and a hint of a lotus flower that represents and so we might as well use the topic for the blog post and pop that in. The design must be, well, I will say landscape in terms of dimensions, and will be used for the blog post you have generated. Used for, I'll just say a blog post, and must use, I don't know, I don't know, let's say watercolor. Let's see what it comes back with. Okay, what I would do is take this now, copy it. So now I will go into ChatGPT, but I would also say to it, please create the following image for, so it's all there. And so now it's creating that image. So we'll see what it comes back with. Takes a little time, but not too long. It's getting quicker and quicker all the time. Because you can see I would never have written all of this for a prompt, but we'll see how effective it is. Now, Gemini has its own image creation tool. However, we'll do it in there as well, but I find it's not as good. And you can see here, the text isn't great, but you can change that in Canva. I would say try that again and remove the text. We'll go back to Gemini and we'll give the same prompt to Gemini. So it's still thinking over here. So it cannot generate. That's interesting. It generated images yesterday, but let's go back and see. So there you go. So that's quite a nice image, and it uses the watercolors as well. It doesn't have the text in there, and it includes AI type elements there. So there you go. So that's just another way of generating images and getting more of what you want from it. You can do it in Canva as well. So why don't I go into Canva and just use that same prompt again. And we'll just do it in just an untitled design. So in Canva, if you've got the Pro version, you'll have this tool down the side here called Magic Media. And in here, you can actually do text to video, which we'll talk about in a sec, or text to image. So I'll put that same prompting, but I think there must be a character limit on that one. So let me say, rewrite this prompt to be, let's say, 100 words. See if that's... Okay, that might be better. So we'll go back in and pop this in. There we go. We'll say landscape image, and you can pick the style as well. So why don't we pick a dreamy style and see what it comes back with. And so what it does now is that it takes a little while in here, but there's the prompt, and now it's generating that. You can see how long it's got to go. And it'll give you options, and if you're not happy, you can keep regenerating until you get something you're happy with. So it's coming back with some nice ones. So that's the first one. Second, so I really like that one. So there you go. So it's come back with something really nice. And of course it looks watercolor because it's the prompt that we gave it. So let's move on now to just some of the tools in terms of images that you can use. So I've shown you Canva Pro. I've shown you DALL-E, which is through ChatGPT 4. I've also shown you Gemini. Now, it does generate images as long as there aren't people in the images. It had a big sort of scandal happen about a month ago. I won't go into it, but yes, it was a bit too inclusive with its images and did not depict historical events accurately. So it stopped being able to generate people in the images. And there's also Midjourney as well. But I'd say the most accessible ones to use would be Canva Pro and ChatGPT 4. Next, I'd like to focus on video. So using AI editors with your video, and there are so many now, but I just want to show you some of the ones that I use. It can really help, particularly video takes a long time to put together, particularly when you're new to it. Now, I've been producing videos for 30 years and it still takes me quite a while to do it. It's sped up the process considerably using some of these tools though, and some of them are automated, and it still takes some time, but it takes less time than me sitting there doing it manually. And it can do things that I think a person just cannot. And because of that, it actually allows you to reach more people and get that sort of deeper engagement while not taking you forever to put together. Things that AI tools can do in terms of video, it can generate automatic captions and subtitles. And now even Canva can do that. These are really important because there's been so many studies to show that the majority of people, when they're watching video on social media, don't listen to the sound. And so if you don't have subtitles or captions on there, and they can't follow along without the sound on, they often will not watch. It also helps with accessibility with people who have issues with hearing. They can actually read along. You can actually remove the background from videos now. You can do this in Canva. So they have AI tools in Canva where you can take the video, take the person off the background and then put them in another background as well. It can help with your the trimming and stuff of video, making sure that you are just focusing on the most important parts. It can even chop out the sort of empty spaces and gaps in action that happens. It can help you to fix the color and also noise. I'll show you Descript in a second. There's a feature in there that it really crisps up the sound. It's like a studio sound feature. So where I live, I'm surrounded by these guys who love their leaf blowers. And because I often am creating content for my students or things like that, I have to do it when they're just outside using their leaf blowers. But what I can do is clean up the audio using some of these AI tools and you can't hear them at all. And it sounds like you're actually in a studio. The other thing is you can that automated repurposing. So you might do a like a webinar like this, and what you could do is put it into one of these tools, and it will create TikTok videos, it will create blogs from the transcripts, it will do a whole range of different things and create it into a whole range of different content automatically without you having to sit there and do it manually. And one of the things I love as well is this transcript-based editing. So the script does that. So what it does is when you put the video in, it will generate the transcript of what you're saying. And rather than you sitting there and cutting things, you can just cut words out of that transcript and it will actually edit the video for you. That's how I now record and edit my lecture material, my course material for the university. And it saves me so much time because I can just see what I've said, and if I've repeated myself, which I can do, or if I have said something incorrect, or I've said something and made a mistake in there, mumbled or sneezed or something like that, I can just cut it out and really tighten it up. One of the best features it has, though, is that it can take out all the filler words. So I say so often, and an R and things like that, but it can detect those and actually cut them all out automatically. And today I used it to generate a video for one of my courses at the uni. It cut out 2 minutes just taking all those things out. There's another tool that's quite freaky in it. It can, if you're not looking at the camera, you can use this AI tool to make it look like you're looking down the barrel of the camera, which I've had mixed success with that. There's been a couple of times it's looked really freaky and actually quite scary. But there's been other times where we've used it with a client who he got a testimonial from one of his clients who was very shy doing the testimonial. So just looked down and read the testimonial. And so we ran that through the AI and it looked like he was speaking with confidence to the camera. So that was a really good way that it worked. But there's been times when I've used it for my own content and I'm like, I don't know. So I think it's going to get better. Another thing it can do is that it can take a clone of your voice, which I know sounds a bit scary, but it means that if you've forgotten to say something in a video, you can put it in and you can just write the text and it will say it in your voice, which is a bit freaky. Or you can even get it to do voiceovers on videos if you're a bit shy about actually doing it yourself. And one of the newest features is text to video. So just like we were writing a prompt to create an image and to create a blog post like that, you can actually write your prompt and it will create a video for you. Now, Canva already has a feature. It's not very good. It takes a long time and it can't do more than like a minute or even 20 seconds. But it's quite interesting in what it can do. I think that's being powered by a tool called Runway. But OpenAI is set to launch in a few months their tool called Sora, and I'll show you a quick video of that before the end of the webinar. It's just amazing. Like the detail is just out of this world. But again, they haven't said how long it takes for things like that to render, so we don't know how clunky the tool is yet. And how to use it. So generally, you would upload your video into the AI tool and then pick what you want to do with it in terms of the different features. Sometimes in many, you can actually even record it in there and then it's already in the platform, so you don't have to do it separately. And then you export it in, so then you can upload it into your social platforms or however you want to use it, even for your website. These are some of the tools that I've mentioned. So Descript is one I use all the time. And that's the one where it does that sort of the eye contact. It cuts out the filler words. It just crisps up the sound. So they're not free tools. I pay because I use them all the time. And then Munch is really good. So what I do is, for example, I might do a live in our Facebook community every Friday. And on Wednesday, I do like a media interview. And what I often do is put that into this tool called Munch. And it will pick out the parts of that interview or that live that are focused on trending topics for the platform that I select and then put it in the right dimension. So even though I shoot it and it's in the landscape, it will make it into the vertical for TikTok. It will generate hashtags. It will generate the captions. It will also generate the caption of the post that I put it up into the platform with. So it's really good. It takes about 40 minutes for maybe a 5-minute to 10-minute video, but it's pretty much all done for you. So you put it on and then go away. You need to check it. It doesn't get it 100% correct with the subtitles, and you work again, edit those captions that you want to post it with. But yeah, just so much faster than you would do it manually. Canva, of course, we'll have a look at that. Runway, which is another one that's getting better and better, but it's not a free tool. Sora, I will show you. And then Camcorder AI is an up-and-coming tool that from the States. I've interviewed their founders for my book, and it's really great. So what it can do is similar to Munch. It can repurpose for different platforms, but it can also do things like, to say you do a I don't know, like an interview with someone, and what it will do is generate the transcript, but create a blog post out of it. It will create a media release out of it. It will do all these other sort of communication tasks from the video. So you'll have a whole range of things come from that. And it's all automated. So it's just really great. This is Sora, but what I might do first is, why don't we have a go at quickly the text to video tool in Canva. So this is in the same spot. I might even use the same prompt that we use for the images. And so it's in this magic media part, and then it's got video. So you can see it's powered by Runway, that tool I talked about, and it says it may not look quite right. So we'll see what it comes back with. It takes a little bit of time. So what it will do is, while that's generating, why don't we go back now and we'll look at this. Is all AI generated content. We won't watch the whole 10 minutes of this, but you can see here, it's just, it looks lifelike, even though it's not a real, it looks like a gnome. And this is the prompt that they used. And so they're testing it out now in Hollywood studios, also in some creative agencies around Europe and in the US. They're still finding bugs in it, so they're testing it and refining it, and it should be available, they're saying, by mid-year. I'm not sure how and how much it will cost, but yeah, it's pretty amazing. Some of the ones at the beginning are, we'll go back. I think, yeah, look at that. It's not real, it's all AI generated. It's just amazing. And our video is still being generated on the other screen. Nearly there. Look at that. It looks so lifelike. I'm sure, though, if you knew those birds really well, there'll be something that's not right. Because it still does look like people with 5 fingers, 6 fingers, or they add an extra finger here and there. The writing on the wall is not quite right. So really good. So what I'll do is I'll show you the image that Canva's generated, the video Canva's generated, and then I'll show you Munch and Descript. I'll just show you what it looks like. And I have to say, I'm not affiliated with any of these tools. They're just ones that I've used. Okay, let's go now to our video. So let's delete that. So this is the video. Clearly the text needs work, but let's see what it's done. So it doesn't, the colors move in the background. So that's nice. But yeah, clearly we'd need to clean up, because that doesn't make sense. The busy teacher for Bo-Yo Yoga. So again, it's still experimental, but we'll get there. So let me show you now. Munch. So that was an example of how the eye contact was not so good. But you can see here, what you can do is load in I'll show you this example. This is where I've loaded in the ticker interview. And so it's made it was landscape. It's made it into vertical. These are the subtitles, so you can edit those, of course, and look at the style and things like that. And then it generates based on the transcript, it generates the caption for you as well. So it's really good in that respect. And then you can just download it and upload it. So that's super helpful. So you load the video in and it does all that work for you. And the other one is Descript. So in Descript, we'll go in and I'll show you the ticker one as well. So you upload the video. And this is what I meant by the transcript editing. So you can see here, when I've uploaded it, so there's the video, and then this is the transcript. So what you can do, you can just delete, I don't want to include that, what I say therein, and just delete it. And then so rather than going along here trying to find it, you can just delete that. Then you've got these different things. So you can put on the studio sound. So that's where it crisps it up. And then you've got effects. And then it's got those things like the eye contact one as well, where it takes a little while to do, so I won't do it now, but you've got all these different ways that you can improve the video. So super helpful in editing. It just makes it really easy. All right, so I think we've covered a lot in terms of content creation using AI. But what I wanted to let you know is really using AI tools to brainstorm is really good, but make sure you give them specific information. If you give generic prompts, you'll get generic information out. So you need to really hone in on the characteristics of your target audience and your business and what you're trying to do, and then you'll get something that's actually more usable and pertinent to your business. You trying to getting AI to actually craft the prompts to generate images will save you a huge headache, because they'll be much more in line with what you actually want. AI tends to be able to talk to other AI better sometimes than when we're trying to actually draft ourselves. And also have a go at some of the AI video editors. Many of them have trial versions that you can play with, and there's also sort of free editing aspects in Canva as well. But yeah, so it's really just about working out really where does it take you the most time with your content creation, and then there will be an AI solution to help you to do that and really overcome those. So if you need any help with those methods, you're most welcome to book in a free 30-minute chat with me, and I can guide you as well and give you some ideas around how you can use AI better in your business. And we'll send you the link to this as well. If you want to book in a time with me, we'll email that along with a recording of this tomorrow. And I've also got a training session coming up at the J in Noosa for those of you on the Sunshine Coast. It's on the 10th of May. And in this session, I'm going to share a method that I've trained with a leading digital marketer in the States called Jeff J. Hunter, who's perfected this method called the AI persona method. What it can do is actually we can use AI to create almost like another staff member for you who does a specific role. And it's all customized to your business and ideal customer and everything as well. So it could be a marketing assistant, it could be a social media manager, something that you get really stuck with. We can create an AI role in your business using even ChatGPT, a free AI tool to do that. And normally I charge $1,500 to do that one-on-one, but I'll be doing that for a third of the price in more of a workshop setting. So here's the details. We'll also send you the link to that as well to see if you're interested. And apart from that, I think that is it from me. So thank you so much for watching this webinar. I hope you found some things helpful. And if you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch. And we'll be back next month with another webinar on some other AI topic that is there to help you in your business. So thank you so much.